Jared and his Greninja break deck. Kyle, who do you think wins between grass versus grass weak Pokemon?
Oh.
We've already had this matchup once, a little bit different, but...
I'm 1 for 1 so far. I'm going to go with the grass.
Oh, okay. Oh, we do see a big prize there, the Fomantis for Harrison. He only plays one in his deck. It's a 1-1 line of Lurantis GX, which I think will be pretty important in this matchup, so having that prize could hurt him quite a bit.
Yeah. And over on Jared's side, he did not prize any Frogadiers, so that means he could potentially get that pretty big setup that we know that Greninja players are used to.
And there we see Bulbasaur, the starting Pokemon for Harrison. This is the first time I have ever said that on stream.
And if Jared didn't know what he's playing against, he just looked over and said, what in the world is that?
So we do see Bridget, and look, there you see the beautiful Bulbasaur from our Shining Legends expansion. That is a major threat to Froakie. 30 damage times 2. That knocks out a Froakie.
That's right. And 70 hit points means that it can't just be Giant Water Shuriken and then devolved. It's going to take 2 of those. So Bulbasaur's definitely ready for some competitive play.
Yeah, I mean, as I said earlier, I have seen a lot of Greninja at the top tables, and, you know...
He might have just found the bubble and just ran through all the Greninjas.
Exactly. Sometimes that's just how it works. Tournaments are about matchups sometimes, and Jared has to read the Shining Genesect.
He's asking if he can trade for it.
Yeah, Shining Pokemon are not easy to get.
That's right. Very rare.
Oh, looks like the Shining Genesect got somehow put back into Harrison's deck after Jared looked at it.
Can I have that back off the Bridget?
Yeah. Bit of an oops to start this off, but I'm sure we'll get this resolved. I don't think anything has gone beyond repair at this point. You just have to find the Genesect and put it back.
Oh, was that his hand?
Oh, maybe it was his hand.
Oh, that'd be a lot worse.
Yes, I agree. Where's the Genesect, though?
This is a mystery.
Boy, we're off to a crazy start here. That Genesect should be on the bench.
Yeah, it went into his hand. Okay. Yeah.
Since he did play Bridget, those Pokemon go straight to your bench. And hopefully we'll get that resolved and go from here. I mean, I'm sure he'll look at his hand and be like, where'd this Genesect come from?
Oh, wait, there it was.
Oh, okay.
The judge had it the whole time.
Man, I'm so lost.
He has 2 of them. Now he can trade 1 to Jared. That works out well.
He's actually got 3 in his deck.
Wow.
I know. He's a high roller. Shining Genesect, man. All right, so again, we did tell you about this Venusaur Shining Genesect deck. It's going to be using Max Elixir to try to get some extra energy in play. Shining Genesect has that cool ability, Energy Reload. It lets you take an energy from one of your Pokemon and move it over to Shining Genesect. So you can do some cool stuff with it.
Yeah.
You could do some like Acerola plays where like if you have a Shining Genesect on your bench, you can move an energy off your active one and then Acerola your active one to your hand and attach the energy you just got back.
Yeah, you can just keep swapping them between the Genesects and doing what you have to do.
And like if you had to do a big attack for a bunch of damage and then your Genesect made it through the turn, you can move an energy off of it so you don't like waste energy. There's fun stuff you can do. It looks like our judge Anthony is gonna get this resolved here. I still do not know what's going on, but I am confident this will be resolved and we'll get this game underway.
I mean, it must feel very awkward for Jared. He knows he just looked and found out how bad this matchup might be for him, and then he's got all this interactions going on that he has no idea what's going on with either.
So we'll see if Harrison is able to play an energy this turn. I didn't get to see.
Maybe 1 on the active there. I see something on Bulbasaur, but looks like Jared's off to a quick start of his own now.
Yeah, so he did attach an energy to Bulbasaur, so he is threatening the turn to Razor Leaf, and that can knock out Froakie.
Yeah, you missed that bubble, and Bulbasaur's coming for you.
That's right. So it looks like Jared is beginning his turn with an Ultra Ball, discarding a Greninja and a Field Blower, getting a second Froakie down, and he's going to play an N.
Yeah, it's a relatively strong turn for what this Greninja deck is capable of doing. Probably wants to find himself a Frogadier and another energy just in case this Froakie does fall. And Bubble is likely going to be his play here. He knows that maybe this Ivysaur can knock him out. Or maybe he doesn't know what Ivysaur does, so maybe this Ivysaur doesn't have an attack that can take him out.
Kyle, I'll have you know, even if he gets heads on Bubble, he can evolve to Ivysaur, attach an energy, and use Razor Leaf. 30 damage.
And yeah,
that's good enough for a knockout.
That'll do it. So,
we could see the aggro Venusaur deck here.
Harrison's definitely got the plays lined up if Jared does get this bubble head.
So we do see Jared use Brooklet Hill for the Tapu Fini GX, and that could be pretty important against Venusaur. If you can, remove Venusaur from play, perhaps you can slow down Harrison's strategy, buy you enough time to get Greninja Break going and go from there. But looks like we did see a bubble heads, and Bulbasaur is indeed paralyzed.
Yeah, the stars are aligning, and Harrison might just be showing us that Ivysaur right now. Gonna see the Max Elixir first, though. Maybe gonna get some more energies onto this board.
First card, there we go.
That'll do.
Yeah, so something cool now with Harrison's situation, if he has Guzma in hand, he could Guzma for, say, a Froakie, and then use Shining Genesect's energy reload and move the energy off of Bulbasaur and onto Shining Genesect. And then if he can find Venusaur, he can get a knockout.
Yeah.
Or just an energy attachment.
Yeah, he's got the energy attachment for the turn still. Looks like he's got a lot of options here. He's got a Skyla in hand and the Ultra Ball.
Yeah, if he's got a Venusaur in hand as well, he's just going to go for it.
Why not?
So he can Skyla for rare candy if he wants. And get that Venusaur out, and we could see a Solar Beam.
Oh, yeah. That's what we want. We want the turn 2 Solar Beams here.
There we go. Got that Full Art Skyla, rare candy into Venusaur. Got that Jungle Totem ability. Now all of his grass energy count for 2 grass energy. And he's going to Ultra Ball. Looks like he does have another grass in hand as well.
Yeah.
Now he can grab Octillery.
He's going to reload his hand right now. And this is a perfect start for Harrison, honestly. Is able to take the knockout here on the Froakie, get a full setup, and even get multiple energies on the board now. These 3 grass energies are actually going to be 6. So Venusaur putting in some work, and 160 hit points is really, really difficult for a Greninja player to handle.
Yeah, so the cool thing is he can attach to Venusaur, and then if he draws a Float Stone off of Abyssal Hand, he can simply retreat to Genesect and use Energy Reload, move the energy to Genesect and attack with it.
Yeah, and that would mean that Venusaur's out of the way of the potential Tapu Fini bringing it back into the deck. So
another Max Elixir, though. Gonna get another energy. He's gonna spread them out. That's, again, Energy Reload in action. You can spread your energy out, and then no matter what, you can just move the energy to the Shining Genesect you want.
Yep.
Hey, we're like 2 turns in, and this has already been interesting. Nothing's even happened. But Solar Beam knocking out Froakie. That just happened. Venusaur knocked out Froakie with Solar Beam.
Yep. Now, if Harrison did want to play around this Tapu Fini, he did have the option to use these 2 energies that are 4 to retreat, and then use the Shiny Genesect, move an energy up, and attack with Shiny Genesect. He'd only have 2 energies on board, well, which would be 4, but he would have protected his Venusaur here. So it looks like he's content with just letting the Tapu Fini, Tapu Storm GX, the Venusaur back into the deck, just because he has Octillery and he might be able to find all those pieces once again.
Yeah, and Jared hasn't even used water duplicates yet.
Yeah.
He's just taking this turn off. Saying,
this is not what he wants to do.
Get that Venusaur out of here. I don't want any more Solar Beams coming my way. But yeah, that means Harrison's, I think, going to be fine. Like, there's no Greninja in sight. There is 1 Frogadier now,
Yeah.
but still no water duplicates. So even if he just attacks with Shining Genesect next turn and, doesn't even get a knockout on Tapu Fini, he can threaten a 2-hit knockout. And yeah, as long as Venusaur comes out at some point, he's going to be fine.
Yeah. It looks like he's got enough energy to at least get some attacks going off. A Guzma would be great for him. He'd be able to put some pressure on Frogadier and get that out of the way. Or he can just get that Venusaur right back into play. Who knows? Is that a baton?
It sure is.
All
that
right.
is a gold Wishful Baton.
I like that.
So Wishful Baton is Pokemon tool. If your active Pokemon gets knocked out by damage from an opponent's attack, you can move all of the basic energy, up to 3 of the basic energy attached to your active Pokemon to one of your bench Pokemon. So it's like a super EXP share.
Yeah. And we were talking earlier about the disrespect that was done onto Field Blower. Well, this is probably the most disrespectful card to Field Blower there is. If you were going to play Wishful Baton.
All right, so we do see Guzma going after that one Frogadier in play. Harrison does not see Tapu Fini as a threat, and there it is, the Wishful Baton.
Yep. Jared's like, can I trade for this too?
And let's see, does Harrison have the grass energy to get the knockout here?
Yep.
He's evolved to Ivysaur, so Venusaur will not be an option here, and he missed. Now he does have max elixir, so now he's already attached his tool to the active, so no, can't even float stone. So
Yeah.
it seems like he's gonna miss the knockout here.
Yep, just a little awkward the way that it all panned out for him. He was able to get 3 energies total, but just couldn't get them in the right place to move them all.
Looks like he's going to Wonder Tag for Skyla, but already played a supporter for the turn. Now, something that could come up in this matchup is actually Greninja's Shadow Stitching. It does disable Venusaur's Jungle Totem, so puts a big dent in Harrison's strategy. If he has to pay full cost for all of his attacks, all of a sudden they don't look so good.
That's right.
Another max elixir, and looks like he's going to hit another grass energy. I'm sure he wishes he could have drawn a grass energy instead, but going to get the second one onto the benched Shining Genesect, and we'll see if he decides to use energy reload.
Yep, looks like he's going to just move that energy over to the active there. And he still can't get a knockout here, but it's a relatively strong spot for him. He knows that he's got that Skyla ready, so he can get Venusaur out soon. The problem is we're giving Jared a free turn here to now start the Shadow Stitching. But you would think that Jared would actually take this turn to start water duplicates and get all the Frogadiers in play. It's going to be really awkward to see Jared just manually set these all up through Froakies now, but it looks like he's not going to take the turn to do this.
Yeah, and Shadow Stitching doesn't even seem like a great option, right? You just get hit
Yeah.
by Gaia Blaster.
Yeah, if he has an energy, you're in trouble.
Yeah. Oh, looks like Jared gonna bust out a Guzma of his own. That's not a card we see in all Greninja decks, but it's gonna be pretty big here to drag up that big Ivysaur with its massive retreat cost. Kyle, if you had to guess what Ivysaur's retreat cost is, what would you guess?
I would have said 2, but I just looked and I'm shocked.
It's 4.
I don't know. That seed on his back is huge. that must be.
Ivysaur weighs 28.7 pounds. Retreat cost 4.
Oh man, his little legs just can't take it.
So it looks like water duplicates has been used. Floatstone.
Yep.
Now their retreat cost
That's the seed off your back.
non-existent. So now Harrison, he did Wonder Tag for Guzma, or actually no, he decided to go for Skyla. So that Floatstone is actually a pretty big deal. We do see the Mallow here, so all sorts of crazy technology coming out.
Yeah, and this works very well with Octillery. He's going to be able to get some cards that he needs right on the top of his deck and draw straight into them.
It looks like Harrison is going to get Venusaur out, and he'll get an energy for the turn. He'll essentially have the threat of 2 different Shining Genesect ready to go. And we do see he puts those 2 cards on top of his deck, and he can draw them with Octillery's Abyssal Hand. Great combo there.
Yeah, it works well for him. He was eyeing up originally some more grass energy along with the Venusaur, decides to go with the Guzma. So it looks like he's got an idea of what he's going to be going for in the future turns, being that he already used his Mallow as his supporter for the turn.
So we do see Venusaur coming back into play, Jungle Totem in effect. Now all those grass energy count is 2 once again. And with 2 energy, that means Gaia Blaster is ready to go. And we're going to see a knockout on this Frogadier and let the fireworks begin.
Yeah, I was interested to see if Harrison was going to use his energy reload now just for that preemptive Shadow Stitching. Looks like he's not going to go with that and hopefully try to find an energy in the future turns.
So we see a Choice Band and N from Jared. Choice Band, typically a great card. Not going to do anything against Shining Genesect, though.
Nope. Yeah, that extra 30 is only going on Lele's.
Yeah, it sure seems like Jared's going to want to use Shadow Stitching as often as he can. Otherwise, I don't know, is this a race he can win?
It looks very difficult. Harrison's going to need to miss grass energies pretty frequently, and I find that pretty hard. I would have liked to see him do the energy reload just to have that energy now. It means that he doesn't need to find one off of the end here. But his deck probably plays a good amount of them, being that that's the focal point of the deck. Get these energies out and go.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure he's got 12 grass energy in his deck.
Yeah.
So we'll see, does Jared have energy here? It looks like he does, but he's going to opt to go with the regular Greninja instead of Greninja Break.
Yeah.
And it looks like we are seeing Shadow Stitching. So this will be a big draw for Harrison. Does he find a grass energy?
Oh, finds the Sycamore. That's going to be pretty strong for him. Able to just get rid of all this and go
like,
find
well,
what he needs.
This is not a decision. I'm drawing 7.
That's right.
We'll see, does he find a grass energy off of his 7? He does.
Oh, yeah.
And we're going to see another Gaia Blaster. And we saw an interesting card that Harrison discarded off his Sycamore. We saw a Gladion.
Yeah.
Lets you look at your prize cards, and then you get to swap Gladion with one of your prizes. So if anything crucial is in there, you get to just grab it out of there.
Yeah, lets him do the 1-1 Fomantis and Lurantis lines.
Yeah.
So definitely a very interesting card to see. And I mean, his deck looks like he has a lot of time to set up. He has a lot of cards that are a little slower, like the Skylas and the Gladion, but it seemed to work very well for him. He's taken his time, and he just says, my strategy is eventually going to beat yours.
And also an interesting interaction with this Wishful Baton. Greninja has ways around Wishful Baton. You can Giant Water Shuriken to knock out the Shining Genesect, and that way Wishful Baton won't activate. But the way it's working out here, I mean, if he wants to knock out this active, he's going to have to Giant Water Shuriken and then Shadow Stitching, which means he gets knocked out by damage. And if he doesn't, he just gets hit with another Gaia Blaster. So it's going to be a little weird seeing how Jared wants to approach this. Harrison now down to 3 prize cards. Can Jared make this comeback?
Well, he wisely didn't use the Greninja Break last turn. He retreated and just used a regular Greninja. So he is going to have some options available to him. Able to use that Field Blower now, and now he doesn't have to worry about activating the Wishful Baton. Also, maybe he has more of those Guzmas and he can lock a Venusaur up. Who knows?
Maybe, yeah. That Field Blower was massive, getting rid of the Wishful Baton. But Jared still needs to draw multiple things, as Greninja typically does. He needs to find a water energy for Giant Water Shuriken and another energy to use an attack. Currently, even a Moonlight Slash would be 10 short of a knockout on the 130 HP Shining Genesect. And it looks like we do see a Giant Water Shuriken go into the active. But what else does he have?
Yeah, I'm not sure. He was able to find Staryu, which is going to be great for following turns, being able to have Starmie for that reload of the energies. But looks like he's going to come in and hit him for 20.
Oh, and he's just going to leave it out there.
Yep.
Jungle Totem is back in effect. Those are all double grass energy, Kyle.
Yeah, he's got a lot of
he's
energies
doing
out
170
now.
right now.
Yep, and he can probably manipulate this to use his a different Shining Genesect and have one that doesn't have all this damage counters on it out and ready to go.
At this point, I'm struggling to find a way that Jared could even win. I mean, Harrison simply says Gaia Blaster and knocks out Tapu Fini GX, goes down to 1 prize.
Yeah.
And he's going to Skyla for a Wishful Baton.
That's an embarrassment of riches right there when you can do those kind of plays.
Looks like he's eyeing up a Revitalizer. Which one trainer card does he want?
Honestly, I don't think it matters. Once he gets to 1 prize left, it's going to be so difficult for Jared to find a spot here because he's going to have to not only answer the threat that's in front of him, but he has to beat the one behind him as well. He won't be able to handle both these Genesects.
So we do see Skyla for the 2nd Wishful Baton. And going to throw that onto the benched Shining Genesect. And with Jungle Totem activated, he can do 170 damage with Gaia Blaster. Those 3 grass energy actually represent 6, and that's 120 extra damage. And after the Abyssal Hand, see the knockout.
Yeah.
Harrison down to 1 prize.
No, I'm looking for
Jared
lines.
just concedes.
Yeah, I'm saying, just looking at lines for Jared to potentially come back in there, and I mean, it would have to be a crucial mistake from Harrison promoting the shiny Genesect with all the energies, and he's not going to do that for you. So, Jared wisely just going to pick it up. You only have 50 minutes, and you got to beat this deck twice. So give yourself all the time you can.
Yeah, if you're Harrison, just business as usual. Solar beam here, Gaia Blaster there. Yeah, easy. 6 prizes.
That was a cute bubble. Let me show you my solar blaster.
So in game number 2, what do you think Jared has to do to perhaps win in this matchup?
Well, I'm sure he's hoping that Harrison doesn't come off to such a strong start again. He really wants to get that turn 2 water duplicate and start to set up his board and start to take advantage of these giant water shurikens. Maybe if he's able to get that Starmie out along with it, he can just start to spread enough damage to where he can avoid setting off that Wishful Baton, and maybe he's able to set up double knockouts where Harrison just won't have the energies on board to finish games.
Yeah, the scary thing for me is that Fomantis was prized that game.
Just imagine.
If Lurantis GX ever comes out, I mean, that is a Greninja destroyer.
Yeah.
First attack knocks out Froakie or Frogadier and gets back 2 energy from the discard pile, attaches one of your Pokemon. Second attack.
Supply, yeah.
Yeah, does 120, heals 30 from itself.
Yeah.
It's a giant 210 HP, stage 1 Pokemon. Lurantis GX seems pretty good against Greninja.
Yep. And so we know Harrison also has the tools to go and find it if he's not able to. If he does prize a piece, we also know that he can just Gladion, go grab it if he needs to. So he's pretty set.
So it looks like both players have mulliganed here in game number 2. Again, if you're watching, get on social media, use the hashtag #PlayPokemon. Tell us who you think is going to win. It's going to be Harrison with his Shining Genesect Venusaur deck, or will Greninja from Jared make the comeback?
Yeah, I'm sure that a lot of trainers who started with Bulbasaur are going to be cheering at home now.
And how can't you, right? Bulbasaur is like the 3rd one.
Yeah.
I mean, I love Bulbasaur, but I mean, there's Charmander, there's Squirtle, and then
it's hard to compete with those. Those are really good. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is a moment for all Bulbasaur fans out there.
Well, Harrison has taken it upon himself to have all those fans on his back, and now he's got to just get one more win here, and he's going to lock himself up for a day 2 spot potentially.
That's right. And all the Greninja players in day 2 will not like to see the Venusaur deck.
A lot of sour grapes on Twitter, I'm sure.
All right, looks like we are setting up for game number 2 and round 8 here at the Memphis Regional Championships. It's been a long day so far. The largest Pokemon TCG Regional Championship ever, with 1,000 players in the Masters Division signing up for this tournament. And we do see prizes for Harrison. Looks like his Octillery will be prized, and a Bulbasaur.
Yeah. Oh, and a Frogadier prized over on Jared's side, too. Never want to see that. So both players are going to be a little bit off of what their typical strategy goes for.
Seems like it. See the starting Pokemon for both players. Harrison with the Tapu Lele GX, not what he wants to see. Jared, double Froakie, looks a little better.
Yeah. Ultra Ball here is going to get rid of 2 of these Greninja pieces, and he's going to be hoping to find. It looks like he's counting out the Frogadiers right now, and already knows he's down 1. But he does. If he doesn't have a supporter available to him, he will be able to go get Tapu Lele, and he can potentially get himself set up for future turns.
Yep, so we'll see which Pokemon he decides to take. It's weird. If you do have a supporter, it's almost like, what do you even take?
Right.
All you want is Froakie.
You're just going to sit there and hold it for a few turns before you do the Frogadier play.
Well, it looks like he will grab N with the Wonder Tag from Tapu Lele GX. And I think Harrison's going to love seeing that. I don't think his hand was very good at all. And this might improve it quite a bit.
Yeah, generally when you start Tapu Lele, that means that you didn't have anything going for you. You weren't able to find any other basic you could start with because you would have loved to hold that Lele to get yourself that supporter for the turn, which is typically Bridget, which gets you everything you need.
All right, so both players will shuffle in and draw until they have 6 cards in their hand. I do have to say, Correction from earlier, there is no Tapu Bulu GX in Harrison's deck. Why do you need that when Shining Genesect can do infinity damage?
That's right. If I had to pick an attack, I'd do Infinity.
It looks like Jared's just going to pass with the energy on Froakie. And let's see, can Harrison get some of his basic Pokemon down?
Yeah, he does find Remoraid does not have the information that his Octillery is in the prize cards. He hasn't had any way to search through his deck yet, so might be a little unfortunate that he's already committing that bench spot, but what are you going to do? You don't have that information yet.
Looks like Harrison does have a support. He has two supporters. Decides to play the Professor Sycamore instead of the N, drawing a fresh hand of 7 cards. Does he find the Fomantis? That'll be a big play here early on.
Absolutely.
And of course, Bulbasaur.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he's your starter. You have to have him.
Oh, there it is, Fomantis. And Jared cannot be happy to see that. Lurantis GX represents quite a bit of damage in the early goings here.
Right, even has the max elixir here. He's going to be able to potentially find a grass, and he can go ahead and put that on his Shining Genesect. Knows he can always move that energy around if he wants to, and next turn, all he really needs is that Lurantis, and he can get going.
So a great start from our Venusaur player, Harrison, and looks like that's probably about all he can do here. He's already played a supporter for the turn, attached his energy. This is not a deck that's going to attack on the first turn very often unless you get really lucky with a bunch of max elixirs.
Yeah.
And we'll see what Jared can do in his turn.
Yep. Able to find that Frogadier, so that means Water Duplicates is a play that he has online.
Ultra Balls away 2 Enhanced Hammers. I'm sure those have been great for him this weekend, but not here. There are no special energy in his opponent's deck.
Yeah, he was able to get himself those 5 wins, but I don't know if that'll help him with the 6th.
So we'll see what he decides to Ultra Ball for. He could grab a Frogadier, but it almost seems redundant sometimes, grabbing a Frogadier to evolve into when you're just going to use Water Duplicates. And again, Greninja doesn't really need more basic Pokemon down. Not like you're going to grab another Froakie here.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing Staryu here. He could just, because he knows he's only going to be able to get 2 Frogadiers, so you might as well give that bench space to the Starmie line.
Yeah, I like that. Tapu Fini's pretty good too.
Yeah, was able to save him from that a very aggressive Venusaur early and often, yeah. So we'll see if he is able to potentially do that again.
And there we do see Water Duplicates, so 2 more Frogadier coming onto the bench. This is about as good of a start as you can ask for with the Greninja deck. We'll see if it's enough.
Yeah, I think this is really just all on Harrison now. If he's able to find that Lurantis, he's all set.
Yeah, he's got any number of combinations to attack this turn, right? He can get Max Elixir plus energy. He could get like Float Stone plus an energy, and then move the energy off of Tapu Lele GX. He could get Rare Candy Venusaur. And he's got all sorts of ways to just go off here.
Yeah. I mean, he could even move all the energies to Lele and go for an energy drive if he wanted.
Looks like he's going to Wonder Tag. He could, Skyla for Ultra Ball, grab Lurantis GX, and just go straight ahead with the Flower Supply.
Yeah, he's just looking right now in his hand to see if he's able to have the cards to discard and do this play, and it looks like it all lines up pretty well for him. So he sees the lines, and that's looking like what he's going to go for.
So there is Skyla for Ultra Ball. And Ultra Ball probably discarding that Genesect and the Mallow. And we're going to see Lurantis GX, big full art Pokemon GX. And retreating will also put an energy in the discard pile. So he can Flower Supply, get a knockout, get an energy into play. Life's pretty good if you're Harrison.
Yeah, it's working out very well for him. Able to now get this extra energy down and likely just start to set up his Shiny Genesect and make sure that it's ready to handle any of these Greninjas that are going to be coming out soon.
Flower Supply? Okay.
All right, so we do see the Flower Supply. Oh, there's 2 Grass Energy in there. That's a much different situation. Both going on to that Lurantis GX. And with the weakness on Frogadier, that will be a knockout. and a 210 HP grass Pokemon, fully powered, staring Jared in the face.
Yep.
But I think this is where old Tapu Fini GX is going to come in.
Yeah, this is where playing all the energies onto Lurantis kind of scared me. Of course, you do set up for Solar Blade, and you get to heal, but you know that you're going to get shuffled right back in. So having those energies on the shiny Genesect meant that you'd have at least another attacker ready to go.
Yeah, and Flower Supply does say you can attach them in any way you like, so he could have even split them up 1-and-1 just to give himself some options, but either way, Jared did not have an exciting turn. No Greninja at all, no supporter, just an energy and an immediate Tapu Storm. So that is not looking good for him. Harrison, on the other hand, going for the Professor Sycamore.
Yeah, would love to find a Candy Venusaur here.
Indeed. Or even a Max Elixir. So then he could energy reload and attack with Gaia Blaster this turn. Looks like just a wishful baton, though.
I need a wishful baton right now.
And this could be an opening for Jared. No attack from his opponent after a very threatening Lurantis GX was in the way. But again, Jared did not appear to have a supporter or anything. Double Greninja break and a splash energy in his hand. And we'll have to see what he wants to go for.
Yeah, you can't do much with that, honestly, and very scary
Oh,
to...
no.
Yeah.
We've already resorted to this. Bubble.
Harrison just
Heads.
shakes his hands.
That Shining Genesect is paralyzed.
Yep.
It should be to the right, but you get the idea.
It works.
It's not asleep. It's paralyzed. So now Harrison will need something like Guzma to perhaps switch his Pokemon and get out of the paralysis here. Looks like he did draw Rare Candy and Venusaur. So Venusaur is in play. So that bubble saved the Froakie.
Yeah. I mean, he had the Float Stone even. He has so many different plays for if Guzma was to come out. He would have had everything ready to go and knock out a Greninja. But don't see too much else from his hand, but I'd much rather be Harrison in this spot than Jared.
It looks like Harrison just has to pass. And we'll see what Jared draws. He's going to need to draw a supporter pretty soon or flip a lot more heads on Bubble.
Yeah, it looks like he's got a Field Blower, and he's going to just take away that baton right now. And it's Bubble time.
And it is heads again. Shining Genesect is paralyzed once again.
Harrison is able to find a Professor Sycamore here, which is a great draw for him. Means that even if Bubble happens a third time, you're probably going to have an answer in this new hand of 7.
So Professor Sycamore, he does have to discard his Lurantis GX. Let's see what he draws off of here. I'm not sure if he plays any item cards that can allow him to switch. I don't see any. So there's no way for him to really get out of this. That Shining Genesect won't attack. He's already played his supporter for the turn, so Guzma is not an option, but doesn't look like his opponent's doing much. So every turn Harrison gets to attach more energy is a good turn for him.
Yeah, gets to just take his time. Of course, would have loved to see Octillery there with the Ultra Ball, but it's in his prize card, so it's just going to have to go for the Shining Genesect. And he's already got so many energies on board, and every turn that Jared's passing, Harrison has to feel like he's getting just that much closer.
We do see another Shining Genesect coming out of the bench. I would have guessed we would see an energy reload there before Shadow Stitching could potentially come in, but looks like he's just going to leave 2 energy on that Tapu Lele GX. And does Jared draw anything? Or will he have to bubble one more time?
I have seen him do it a lot, so who knows? It looks like he's wondering if he should pull the trigger here now or not. I don't know what that extra card was in his hand.
Could be an energy.
Yeah.
Thinking about it.
Could be an enhanced hammer.
Yeah, it looks like any amount of thinking here, he probably would have an energy card to do an attack or something, and yeah, that seems to be the case.
But going for the bubble. Number 3. Ooh, that one's not working out. All right, so Shining Genesect will be able to attack this turn. And And the big question is, did Harrison draw Guzma off of his Professor Sycamore? If he did, I think that Greninja break could be going down. Otherwise, well, it's good knowing you, Froakie.
Yeah, you know, those bubbles were very, very strong, but just not enough.
Max Elixir does get the grass energy onto the benched Shining Genesect. And we see an energy attachment for the turn. And oh boy, that's Gladion, that's not Guzma. But the Gladion does allow him to get the Octillery that was in his prize cards.
Yeah.
So now he can Abyssal Hand and set up further.
Yeah, that works out very well for him. And
you do have to shuffle your prize cards after you use Gladion, so you have to present it to your opponent and say, all right, do you want to cut my prizes?
Just making him work a little extra harder.
And Octillery coming down there. You do see the Gladion in the prizes now. That swaps itself with one of your prizes.
This game's awesome.
I will say it's very frustrating when you draw your next prize and it's Gladion. And there we do see the Gaia Blaster for the knockout.
And
Interestingly
he did
enough,
draw the Gladion.
interestingly enough, he did not use energy reload, so a shadow stitching here would make it so Shining Genesect needs another energy to attack. There's just 2 energy hanging out on that Tapu Lele.
Yeah, it's like Harrison's inviting Jared to use shadow stitching, and he's just holding that grass energy in hand, trying to bait him a little bit, or he just really just doesn't care about those energies on the Lele.
And Jared continues to draw nothing, as Greninja is apt to do. And looks like he's considering retreating and just going to retreat to the Tapu Lele GX, but this is incredibly dangerous. Now Jungle Totem is active still.
Yep.
And one more energy means a Gaia Blaster 170 damage knockout, and Harrison finds himself at 2 prize cards. Oh, never mind, he's just going to play Guzma.
Yep, he's able to take out the biggest threat that Jared had, and I mean, this is a lot of damage. We're in the 340s now, so definitely going to be taking out that Greninja break here.
I'm hoping he piles it on. Move the 4th energy to the active.
Come on.
All right, just going to settle for the 340 damage Gaia Blaster to that Greninja break. Going down to 3 prize cards, and I don't know if all the bubbles in the world can save Jared.
Yeah, he would have to get 30 in a row, and Harrison just forget to play in.
Jared's just going to pass with that Tapu Fini GX active. And there's already enough energy on Shining Genesect to get the knockout. Looks like Harrison's going to go down to 1 prize, and this has just not been Jared's game or Jared's series. I mean, he just has not done much. We see the Gladion played a 2nd time.
He's taken like 12 prize cards, so he just keeps picking them up and doing what he wants with them.
Puts the Gladion back in there. Do you think he's going to draw it again?
Oh, of course.
He gets 2 prizes.
Yeah, let's see where he puts it. Yeah, this is he's been drawing from that side, so.
I don't know. I think he's going to take from the left.
All right, we'll see. We'll see.
There we do see
He's
Gaia
getting 2.
Blaster. Did he get the Gladion? I didn't get a chance to see it.
Yeah.
We'll never know. All right, Harrison Grandish will take down round number 8 with Shining Genesect and Venusaur, and he goes to 6-0-2. All he needs to do is intentional draw, and he has 21 match points. That should lock him up for day 2.
Yep, I'm sure there's plenty of other players at that 602 mark that are looking to ID with him. So we could see our first ever Venusaur in cut. I don't know if we've had